What's going on, everyone? So, according to Brett Siegel, the Los Angeles Lakers are, in the process of trying to figure out a way to potentially acquire Herb Jones. Herb Jones is a target for the Los Angeles Lakers. Herb Jones makes all the sense in the world for the Lakers. Made a video yesterday talking about how they have been heavily linked to the Lakers, and I don't think that that's going to go anywhere. Many of you, myself included, really would love to have Herb Jones on the Lakers. I do worry. So, according to Brett Siegel, there are several teams, including the Golden State Warriors. Talked about this in that other video. Pretty much every team in the league is going to at least try to get Herb Jones, right? He's just one of the better kind of plug and play wings in all of basketball. And the other problem too is he's not a guy that his new contract kicks in. So he's not a guy that can go like, hey, I only want to go to Lakers. Like somebody like a Keon Ellis, for example, who's more of a second tier wing. He's somebody that, you look at and go like, hey, he could force his way if he wanted to, right? He could say, because he's an unrestricted free agent next season, he could go like, hey, don't trade for me. I only want to go to Lakers. If you try to trade for me, I'm just going to leave and go to Lakers in the offseason, right? So that is something that I think is a lot more obtainable if that's something that, say somebody like him would want to do. But outside of that, right, any potential trade for Herb Jones, you're going to have competition, and the Lakers just don't have a ton of assets, right? I'm sure if Herb Jones was like, I would like to go to Lakers, maybe the Pelicans would be willing to, but the Golden State Warriors are a team that's mentioned in that Brett Siegel article, right? And they have Jonathan Kuminga, right? And would they be willing to do Jonathan Kuminga in a pick, right? Maybe if they would, I don't think the Lakers can match that, right? Because, he's a young athletic wing that gives them that, unless the Pelicans want cap space flexibility, right? And then you can do something like a Rui and a first or something, right? It just depends on how far would the Lakers be willing to go, right? Talked about that last night. A lot of these trades, would the Lakers be willing to give up an Adu Thero, right? Now, if you do something like, maybe like a Gabe Vincent, Dalton Connect, and Adu Thero for, whatever, Sadiq Bey and Herb Jones, maybe that's enough to get it done, right? I know a lot of people might not want Adu Thero gone. I don't even really want Adu Thero gone. But if the Lakers are trying to win now and the Lakers are trying to get it done now, Herb Jones and Sadiq Bey would help you a lot more this year, next year, and maybe even the year after than an Adu Thero, definitely a Dalton Connect, stuff like that, especially if you can keep Rui, have Rui come off the bench, right? There's things that the Lakers, they're going to have to make tough decisions on. They're going to have to make tough calls on. Now, I have talked about, I do think that there is an argument to be made about going and getting kind of those second tier wings, right? I've talked about with Andrew Wiggins and Miles Bridges, which Miles Bridges, I would personally probably pivot to Miles Bridges just because I think he'd be cheaper and easier to acquire. And there are reports that the Charlotte Hornets are going to shop him around the trade deadline. So I think there's an argument to be made. If you can get Herb Jones, get Herb Jones. But I think there's an argument to be made. Let everyone else stumble all over each other to go get the shiny toy, and then you sneak through the back and get the guy that's just as good, if not better, right? But I've made an argument before with Miles Bridges and an Andrew Wiggins that, one of the best attributes about those two is their ability to self-create, right? They're not so reliant on a Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, guys like that. Herb Jones can create a little bit, but, Miles Bridges is a guy that go get you 40 on any given night, right? And Andrew Wiggins is a guy that go get you 30 plus on any given night, right? That's one of their better skill sets, where Herb Jones is better suited as that catch and shoot 3-and-D guy, right? I also think that there's an argument to make Herb Jones might be one of the best fits for this Lakers team, because with a Miles Bridges and an Andrew Wiggins, like I've talked about, how much opportunity are those two going to get to really self-create? How much opportunity are those two going to get to put the ball on the deck, go get, that 30 points, 40 points, whatever? Sure, a night Luka's off or, Reeves is off or something like that, then sure, yeah, maybe, those are the games where they really step up. But on the day-to-day games, the run-of-the-mill games, the playoff games, how often are you you're paying for the premium for those guys to do that. But Is that something that makes sense for the Lakers, or is a guy like a Herb Jones a better slotted fit? I think there is an argument that Herb Jones is a better kind of just natural catch and shoot, knock down the three ball, but also defend 1 through 3 at a high level, which is what the Lakers need. Herb Jones can slot in at the 2, you can slot him in at the 3, so you can go like Luka and Herb if Reeves has the night off, or say Luka gets the night off. You can go Reeves and Herb and, and then go with another wing or whatever. The key for me, if you're the Lakers, is try to get Saddiq Bey too, right? Because now because Saddiq Bey also fits the timeline. And now that gets you the top end wing and that second tier wing. If you can get both, it'd be kind of hard to say no to like whatever they ask. Because again, you got that second tier wing and you got that higher tier wing that are two guys that could be on this roster for the next, 6+ years. And you have those rotation guys. And then, like I said, you can have again, Luka has the night off. You could go with like Reeves, Jones, Bey, whoever else. And then, even this year, LeBron and DeAndre Ayton, especially if you can keep guys like Rui and stuff like that. Like, again, there's arguments to be made based on, what the return is, like what you have to give up and all that stuff. But I've also talked about, I think, going and getting second tier guys, right? Like, if you're the Lakers, do you kind of let them stumble over themselves and then go get a Saddiq Bey, right? Like, hey, let them all kill each other over a Herb Jones. We're just going to come in, try to pluck a Saddiq Bey, and then go focus on a Miles Bridges or something like that. Or maybe you get a Saddiq Bey and then go get a, Keon Ellis, and then can you get another kind of third tier wing kind of guy, right? Like there's arguments to be made across the board for several of those guys. Again, if you can get Herb Jones, you get Herb Jones, right? If you had to do something where it's like Rui, like in a perfect world, if you could do like Rui, Dalton Connect for like a Saddiq Bey and a Herb Jones, I would do that all day. It just depends. And then obviously a first, you're going to have to give up your first for Herb Jones, but he's one of the few guys that's worth it, right? Because, Herb Jones is also one of the guys I don't mind overpaying for, right? I've talked about in the past. I don't mind overpaying for players if it's justified, if it's warranted, right? Last offseason, last trade deadline, right? Lakers overpay for Mark Williams. A lot of people was it overpay, but most people were okay with it because they understood, like, hey, this could be the difference between us winning a championship or not. Like, this could be the answer to a lot of things. Now, if instead, we didn't get Mark Williams, we have DeAndre Ayton who's balling out, and then we take that same package and go get a Herb Jones, I mean, sign me up all day, right? So to me, I don't mind if the Lakers have to overpay for Herb Jones, which, it's not like the Lakers have a ton to offer anyway, but if you did have to pay for Herb Jones, I wouldn't mind it. The big question is, would you give up a Dude Thero for Herb Jones? That's really what it probably boils down to. Because if the Lakers are willing to give up a Dude Thero, a first, and, whatever else, I would try to keep Dalton Connect, see if you can turn Dalton Connect into, like, if you could do something where, if I have to include a Dude Thero and my first, right, I need Herb Jones, I need Saddiq Bey, right? You give me those two. If I would want to at least keep my second round pick, because I'm hoping you could then go take that second round pick plus Dalton Connect and go get a Keon Ellis, right? Now I think it's justified and digestible that you moved off of a Dude Thero, because you got Herb Jones, who, again, gives you the long-term answer. You got Saddiq Bey, who gives you a long-term answer in just depth rotation at the wing. Then you got a Keon Ellis, who again gives you that depth rotation and out on the wing in the guard position. Also, I don't think you'd have to include Keon Ellis nor Saddiq Bey in any potential, again, not saying this will happen, but if the Lakers Giannis stuff ends up becoming a thing, you're probably going to end up having to give a Herb Jones up, right? Probably doing Austin Reeves, Herb Jones, plus whatever else, right? Well, if you have Saddiq Bey and, a Keon Ellis, it gives you two guys that you can slot in. Like, you could go Luka Doncic, Keon Ellis, Sadiq Bey, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then DeAndre Ayton. So not only do you get the pieces now to help you now this season, and are probably one of, if not the best teams in all of basketball, you also now can go and do the things, if you land Giannis to replace LeBron and still have that kind of starting five to where you're still one of the best starting fives in all of basketball. Plus, if you're able to keep a Rui and all those other things, like I said, I don't hate that, right? Because, think your starting five. You're talking right now, Luka, Reeves, Herb, LeBron, Ayton, right? Your bench would be, you still have Gabe Vincent, you could trade Maxi Kleber, all that, but you'd have, Gabe Vincent, Marcus Smart, Sadiq Bey, Keon Ellis, DeAndre Ayton, Rui Hachimura. Right now, I'm trying to package, if I can, find a team that wants to get off of a guy or two and clear some salary and can you turn Gabe Vincent and Max Kleber into another piece or something, right? Just gives you options and flexibility there to maybe get something done. I guess you'd give up one of them in the Herb and Sadiq Bey trade, right? So then maybe you'd be off of that. But you get the point, right? Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So I enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.